Welcome to the world of research. In this video, we are going to learn about Marxism. Marxism is a socio-economic and political theory, but we are focusing here more on its elements. The elements of Marxism. The first element is the dialectical approach to knowledge and society that defines the nature of reality as dynamic and conflictual. Social disequilibria and consequent change are due to the class struggle and the working out of contradictions inherent in social and political phenomena. There is, according to Marxists, no inherent social harmony or return to equilibrium as liberals believe. The second element is materialistic approach to history. The development of productive forces and economic activities is central to historical change and operates through the class struggle over distribution of the social product. The third is a general view of capitalist development. The capitalist mode of production and its destiny are governed by a set of economic laws of motion of modern society. The fourth is a normative commitment to socialism. All Marxists believe that socialist society is both necessary and desirable end of historical development. It is only the third of these beliefs that is of interest here. Historical change is a reflection of economic development of society. Capitalism is the main force of world economic system. In capitalist society, there is a class conflict between the bourgeois and the proletariat. Historical materialism. Changes in economic base impact a society's superstructure, and this economic base of a society consists of means of production and relations of production. As the means of production, like the labor, knowledge, tools, and technology change, so does the relations of production. Capitalism is built on logic that would ultimately lead to the contradiction and crisis. Marx talked of the conflict of interest between the social classes, between the owners of capital and workers, as compared to the harmony of interest that liberals talked about. There is no social harmony in capitalist system. In fact, the laws that govern it create inherent contradictions responsible for the ultimate collapse. The principles of capitalism, like the pursuit of capital and the protection of private property, allow bourgeoisie to exploit the proletariat. In order to understand it in a much better manner, we need to learn about some laws. The first is the law of disproportionality. Liberal capitalist understanding of supply-demand. Supply generates its own demand, so both will be mostly in balance. This equilibrating process makes overproduction impossible. But according to Marx, capitalist societies have a tendency to overproduce certain goods. Because the capacity to produce goods and the capacity to consumers, wage earners, to purchase is not equal. This disproportionality of production and consumption leads to recurring crises, depressions, and fluctuations that will lead the proletariat towards ultimate revolt. This disproportionality of production and consumption leads to recurring crises, depressions, and fluctuations that will lead the proletariat towards the ultimate revolt. The second is law of accumulation. Derive for profits is the main motivating force for capitalists. This requires the bourgeois to accumulate more capital and invest more to have more returns, profits leading to more accumulation. They are paid less than the value of goods and services they produce, and the difference between the two is known as the surplus value or the profit. This leads to concentration of wealth in the hand of successful capitalists. With time, The bourgeoisie also joined the swelling ranks of the impoverished and unemployed, thus making a ripe situation for social revolution. The falling rate of profit. Capitalism is based on the private ownership of the means of production and wage labor system. Workers, they sell their skills at a price determined by the market. By exploitation of the labor, wealth or capital is accumulated. But the accumulation of capital leads to falling rate of profit. As capital accumulates and becomes concentrated, the rate of return declines, thereby decreasing the incentive to invest. And then, having more profit requires more exploitation. Capitalists, they will thereby lose their incentive to invest in productive ventures and to create employment. This will result in economic stagnation, increasing unemployment, and the immaterialization of the proletariat. In time, the ever-increasing intensity and depth of the business cycle will cause the workers to rebel and destroy the capitalist economic system. The core of the Marxist critique of capitalism is that although the individual capitalist is rational, as liberals assume, the capitalist system is itself irrational. The competitive market necessitates that the individual capitalist must save, invest, and accumulate as well. If the desire for profits is the fuel of capitalism, then investment is the motor and accumulation is the result. In the aggregate, however, this accumulating capital of individual capitalists leads to the periodic overproduction of goods, surplus capital, and the disappearance of investment incentives. In time, the increasing severity of the downturns in the business cycle and the long-term trend towards economic stagnation will cause the proletariat to overthrow the system through revolutionary violence. Thus, the inherent contradiction of capitalism is that, with capital accumulation, capitalism sows the seeds of its own destruction and is therefore replaced by the socialist economic system. If inherently flawed, why it sustained itself? The false consciousness, production, and maintenance of tautological values such as the pursuit of material possessions as natural objective of humans and the importance of spiritual beliefs and religious observance. Proletariat are kept in a state of non-action against the existing order by the satisfaction of some perceived desires and by the control and distractions inherent within religious belief systems. Like the Catholic Church in Italy, social disobedience is sinful. Lenin converted Marxism from a theory of domestic economy to a theory of international political relations. Imperialism is the highest form of capitalism. It escaped its three laws by overseas imperialism. Colonies helped the capitalist economies to dispose their unconsumed goods, acquire cheap resources, and vent the surplus capital. Capitalism does develop the world, but does that unevenly and unequally. This inequality leads to imperialism, war, and political change. Added a fourth law to the existing three. As capitalism grows, imperialism or imperial expansion becomes a necessity to sustain itself. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting and informative videos. Thank you. Good luck with your research.